Hey, Dragon Slayers. It's been about an hour and a half since my last meal. My blood sugar is 119. So, my last meal consisted of more barbecue. Today was the final day of the competition. Unfortunately, our team did not win, but we have ammunition for next time. I enjoyed all the food, had ribs and brisket and chicken and pork belly. It was incredible. So today's video is about the concept that we should not be this fat and this sick. So I told you guys that I was going to start breaking down Ted Naiman's book, and this is part of the introduction to that. So it says it happened just slowly enough that we all got used to it. Now we are conditioned to expect it, like death and taxes, or your dropped piece of toast landing butter side up. Everyone expects to slowly and inexorably gain weight their entire adult life. We just naturally assume that you will have a dad bod or be full figured in your young adulthood, and a few decades and a few dozen pounds later, you inevitably end up as a bigger man or woman. Sure, we cover it up fairly well with larger clothes, larger chairs, larger everything. In fact, we blend in so well with the landscape that practically nobody even knows that they are morbidly obese unless their doctor highlights it at a depressingly demotivating less than yearly physical. Yet, even if your doctor happens to point out that your BMI or body mass index is out of range, the notification feels rather blasé. After all, what could you possibly do about this? Sure, there's the perfunctory eat less and move more, or perhaps the even more vague and impotent hand wave of watch your calories. But hey, it's not like you aren't trying. This is just the way it works. Even if you are one of the rare lucky ones who seem to stay thinner through no apparent fault of your own, except for some fortuitous genetics, we just wait for the chronic diseases. You are supposed to watch your grandparents slowly decline right before your eyes, accumulating frailty and dental disease and so many orthopedic problems that eventually it seems that they have nothing else left else to talk about. Until cognitive decline sets in, then they start telling you the same thing they told you yesterday, every day. This is just the way it goes. 50% of 80-year-olds have enough cognitive decline to be formally diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. We know this instinctively, and we see so much memory impairment in the elderly around us that we end up thinking that this is normal and that it seems inevitable. That is, if we are lucky enough to live that long to even see a nursing home without succumbing to cardiovascular disease or even the more terrifying cancers. Almost half of us in modern the world are eventually diagnosed with some sort of cancer, and the subsequent sensation of inevitability and randomness is pretty much identical to what you would expect from the love child of a Russian roulette meets a sword of Damocles. Every time you hear that food causes cancer, your anxiety ratchets up one more notch, and you make the quick mental note to avoid this terrible poison. That is, until you eventually hear that pretty much everything causes cancer. Once you've sifted through the epidemiological data, and after that, you just try not to think about it, which works well as your weight loss attempts so far. Everyone knows someone with at least one chronic degenerative disease, and maybe even has one themselves. And yeah, I mean, I think that's just the great premise of this, right? We have become so dependent on the idea that we should get sick and die. I don't remember what doctor said this, but I heard one doctor recently talk about how if you look at animals in nature, it's not normal to slowly decline over time and die. He's like, animals are vibrant and feral until they just die spontaneously, right? They either die in their sleep or they just kill over dead, but they maintain their youthfulness and their vibrance even late into life. The idea that you start here and then you slowly decline until you're barely living anymore is ludicrous. I do believe that we can all have a better life, and I do believe that diabetes, for the vast majority of people, 99.9999% of people, is 100% reversible. So I want you guys to think about that and keep holding my hand. I'll take you on this journey and this adventure together. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.